Welcome. The restoration is complete, and the celebration has begun. The Aethernet is installed in the Firmament, and the face of the Firmament is no longer able to send you anywhere. The monuments are up. Where I thought they meant to make these for a specific person, it turns out these are dedicated to the specific crafting class that made the most contribution. And it has been officially confirmed that housing will be available in the Firmament in patch 6.1. This will be the first major patch of the next expansion. There's been no mention of it being anything but a typical housing district. So, to celebrate the completion, we get to do fates. I mean, the people organized a fate, but for the fate, we do fates. Clear? If you don't know, a fate is a local festival or celebration. Every couple days, a session consisting of 12 sets of 5 fates will begin. Each set of 5 fates will happen every 2 hours for a day, and then it'll be another couple days before another session starts. While you are in the Firmament, there will be a timer in the duty list telling you how long till the next one begins. The 5 fates will take about half an hour to complete. The active area for the fates is the whole Firmament, but each one takes place in one of 3 specific locations. You must be a Disciple of the Land or Disciple of the Hand class of any level in order to participate. That's a crafter or gatherer in layman's terms. 4 of the 5 fates will have a Join Fate button regardless of your level. Be sure to press it. If you have joined the fate, and you don't see the special action buttons in the first fate, here are some things you can try. Make sure the pet bar is enabled in your HUD layout. In the character configuration hotbar section, select Display both pet hotbar and hotbar 1. You can try enabling the hotbar cycling button and include pet hotbar. If you don't see the special actions, you can try cycling through the hotbars. If you're just having performance issues, in system settings lower the graphic quality and/or the resolution, and in other settings lower the character and object quantity. These should help the most. In a pinch, you can also try turning off sound entirely. Also dismiss your minion. In the character configuration in control settings section, under character, you can lower battle effects. This probably won't have much effect though. In these fates, the progress bar just fills as the timer counts down. It has nothing to do with how many points people are getting. Once you get the minimum for gold, I recommend moving on to the next location. This helps people with weaker computers to get through it, since there will be less people in their immediate area slowing it down. The first fate takes place here in Bright Ballad's Passage. When you click Join Fate, you should get 3 actions. 3 costumed people will appear on the pedestals. They will take turns performing what looks like common emotes. These correspond to the 3 action buttons you have. Each person will always perform the same action and always be in the same place, left or right, which is also the same arrangement as the 3 action buttons. Only the order in which they perform their actions changes. You need to select the person when they become active and then perform the action. The actions perform the same animations as certain emotes. Doing those emotes will not work. You need to activate the action buttons to earn points. If for some reason the buttons do not appear, you may need to adjust some settings as I mentioned earlier. Each correctly executed action gives you 1 point. It's pretty easy to get 10 or 11 points, but you only need 6 to get gold rating and the maximum reward. When you're done, head south to the south end of the Matic for the second fate, Made of Softer Stuff. This is the only fate of the 5 that does not have a join button. Of the 5 fates, this one is the most like the concerted works we did throughout the restoration. When the fate begins, 4 workstations with stuffed toy materials appear in the south. Wander over to any one and right-click to make a giant Moogle. Pick up this Moogle and carry it to the north to a waiting Wayne, which is another word for wagon apparently. You get 1 point each time you put a Moogle in a Wayne. You only need to do this 3 times for gold rating. Also of note, after the time is up, there is an additional minute to finish up whatever you are working on. This is true for all the remaining fates. Now head back up to where you did the first fate for Shear a Yak. When the fate begins, a giant yak will appear. When you join, you get a special action, Aetheromatic Clipper. You select the yak and shoot, or shear it, much like how you use the Aetheromatic Auger in the diadem. When you hit it, 3 bits of yak fleece will appear on the ground in random spots around the yak. You need to pick up all 3 and then head south to give them to Chippy Chocobo. Each time you turn in 3 sacks of fleece, you get 1 point. You can only turn in 3 sacks, no less, and you need 4 points for gold rating. Notice it has quite a range. Head south towards the Matic, but then head west past the monument towards Hoarfrost Hall to an area called the Abacus for Toy Hunter. When the fate starts, make sure to click the Join Fate button, because you won't see any of the presents until you do. 3 present boxes will appear in semi-random locations, though 1 will be in the middle and 1 will be on each side. When you examine a present, 1 or 2 things will happen. One is that it may turn you into a pig that can't examine presents. This only lasts about 5 seconds and will be nearly gone by the time you get to another present. The other thing that can happen is you could find a lucky toy, which you should then turn in to the Perky Pig for a point. You will want to turn in 4 toys for gold rating. For the final fate, Presence of Mind, head to the north end of the Matic. When the fate starts, 3 people with presents to give, as well as 6 other people to give presents to, will spawn. Be sure to join the fate. Only 1 present will be active at any time, and it will say right on it who it is for. The color order seems to be random, but you will always get 2 of the same color in a row, and the colors will not repeat again until you have delivered 6 presents, 1 to each person, which is the minimum you need for gold rating. When you finish each fate, you will receive some experience if you aren't capped. Very little experience. Some Skybuilder scripts, and possibly a fate present or 2. Fate presents most often will contain a fate token, which can be used to purchase a few items from Eni. More on this later. Other possible presents include the Antelope Staghorn, Peacekeeper's Attire Coffer, and the balloon decorations that can be purchased for fate tokens from Eni. Also, many of the items she sells for scripts, rare dies, crafted bardings, and minions, and many items that come from the Aquapolis or the Lost Canals of Usner. When your server finished the 4th phase, some more quests in the main questline should have shown up, starting with Not by Bread Alone. These quests center on commemorating the completion of the restoration and showing appreciation to Frankel for all his hard work. This will involve the return of a certain musical game that you can play as much as you like when you are done. When you finish the story, and if you are at least 70 as a crafter or gatherer, a quest to unlock Count Charlemagne custom deliveries becomes available. If you don't know, custom deliveries involve delivering crafted or gathered collectibles to a particular character to gain satisfaction with them. You can deliver up to 6 items to any one person each week. As you gain satisfaction levels, you also progress through a simple storyline. When you reach maximum satisfaction, you will get an achievement and usually some other rewards. In Charlemagne's case, you earn the ability to dress him up with any clothing as long as it has no class or job restrictions. After that, this is a good source of white and yellow scripts, as well as gil, and is also a good way to level up. Additionally, there are a series of achievements that will eventually give you a title. I highly recommend doing all of the story quests, deliveries, and side quests in the Firmament. It pretty much makes up an epilogue to the Dragonsong War and addresses things like rebuilding the city, how the people of Ishgard are doing, the relationship with the dragons, the nobles' relationship with the commoners, and you also see what's going on with people you've met in the past. You can still visit the diadem to gather and fish and turn in items for scripts and Skybuilder's points. You can still craft collectibles and turn those in for scripts and Skybuilder's points, as well as Kupo of Fortune stamps. Other than the limited time ranking related achievements and titles Beata and Saint, you should be able to continue working on all the achievements related to this. I'm guessing it will remain like this forever. As for Kupo of Fortune, I might as well tell you how to play it, or at least how I do. You pick one space, and only one, and you get the prize listed for that symbol. The one on the left can only be second, third, or fourth prize, and the three on the right can be any prize. The prizes change randomly, but you can see what they are before you pick, so if you want the second, third, or fourth prizes, pick the one on the left. Otherwise, pick one of those on the right. I don't really play this for the prizes since everything can be purchased and I have pretty much what I want, but there are some achievements for winning first prize multiple times. I just always pick the top hexagon because it beats constantly second guessing and missing it. There is no real strategy. Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. If I like what I get, I keep it. If not, I put it on the market board. In the fourth phase, a selection of carbuncle-themed housing items were added to the prize list. I believe in 5.45, the next and possibly final step of the Skybuilder's tools upgrade path was implemented. The questline directs you to the Firmament, and most of the tools involve the diadem in one way or another. For crafters, you need to craft collectibles. Except they are expert recipes this time. These collectibles are traded to Spanner, the robot, for oddly delicate tool parts that are needed to complete the quest. The new series of mats, known as Oddly Delicate, can be purchased for yellow scripts from script vendors or from Eni for Skybuilder scripts. Additionally, you need a couple artisanal items gathered from the diadem. Since the number of items you get vary with the collectability of the item you turn in, you will need enough to make at least 20, but possibly as many as 60. Check in the description for a link to a guide describing how to make expert recipe items. For miner and botanist, first you need a collectible from Azys Law, which will be traded for oddly delicate parts from Spanner, the robot. The number of parts you get will depend on the collectability level of the items you gather. You also need to collect 750 of a normal item in the diadem from special nodes on this island right here. These are not tradable or usable for crafting anything, so only get what you need for the quest. These you will trade for inconceivably delicate parts. Note that the aether meter fills when gathering here, so be sure to use your auger as you do so you can get a little script while you are working on this. Fishers will need to fish up 2 different collectible fish in Azys Law in the beta quadrant. And as usual, you will need to use the signature sky ball as bait, which can also be bought from Spanner the robot in the Firmament. You will also need to activate Collect in order to fish up collectible fish. Be aware of the minimum collectability level, and only accept those that you can use. The rejects will stack up nicely, and you can vend them later. You will need to trade the collectibles for oddly delicate rod and reel parts. One thing I should point out, that except for fishing, collectability mode is no longer a thing. This happened somewhere between Phase 1 and Phase 4. And since it didn't really affect the restoration, it slipped my mind to mention it. Note that the mats that you buy for scripts can also be sold on the market board. If you end up with extra collectibles, you can lower their quality and then vend them for gil. However, any extra gobbygoo or parts cannot be sold or traded, and you will need to discard them. I should point out that you can purchase replicas of the Dragonsung and Skysung versions of each tool from Spanner, as well as Denny's. When you complete the story quests, the art appraiser opens a shop right next to Eni. He sells 4 paintings for your apartment, but you will need to purchase or craft frames in order to use them. Eni also has 3 new items in the Skybuilder's scripts section. The Antelope Doe Horn lets you ride an antelope doe like the ones in the South Shroud. There are also a couple orchestrion roles. You might recognize the song, What is Love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Just kidding, actually it's this. And the other is Skyrise. Eni also has a new section for fate tokens. The first 4 items are new things that can randomly be found in the fate presents. For all you hippies, there is the Peace Lover's Attire Coffer. The individual items can be sold on the market board. The Antelope Staghorn is the mate to the Antelope Doe. The Fate Party Balloons and Fate Skyrise Balloons are outdoor items for your house that look like the balloons currently decorating the Firmament. You can also purchase some of the shiny dyes, level 7 or 8 crafting and gathering materia, and the various Ishgardian magicked prisms. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this series of videos informative. Though the Firmament and Diadem have become great places to level crafting and gathering, it can get boring if it is all you do. There is a lot of other content, such as beast tribes, leave quests, other custom deliveries, as well as the class story quest lines, which should be a top priority. If there is something you would like to see a guide on, let me know in the comments. And please, like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.